historically have invested more in their offspring. So they're going to be a lot more selective. You know, the root, if you want to look at the genetic root, the biological root.
Yeah, sexual selection theory.
Right. Of why women are kind of more so looking for that investment compared to men, whereas men are a lot less selective. But I know that Brian disagrees with me.
he agrees. He's just talking about his case. I said he just talking about in his case. He agrees generally.
Yeah. Here, we're going to go to Twitch, guys. Go to twitch.tv/whatever. Drop us a follow and a Prime sub if you have one. If you have Amazon Prime, you can link it to your Twitch. It's a quick, free, easy way to support the show every single month. John, thank you for the Prime. Legit, thank you for the Prime. Hawk, thank you for the Prime. Thank you, everybody else, for that. Also, like the video, guys, please, if you are enjoying the stream. And then also, we have Venmo and Cash App if you want 100% of your contribution to go towards us. I'll give you guys a little shout out. Bunny Rabbit, thank you for the 15 via Cash App. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And let's see what else. Oh, also, Reed is 100, TTS is 200 if you guys want to get a chat in. All right, so we're going to get into the questionnaire stuff, and then we have more pre-show notes and whatnot. So going around the table, what would you want the minimum yearly income to be for your future husband?
What did I say? I think I said as long as it's not significantly less than me, or like average living comfortable expense.
Okay.
I put 65,000 because I thought I wanted a number, but just average enough to live really well.
Okay.
I said 75,000, just kind of on like same terms, kind of like how I make.
You're a nurse, you make around there, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't put a number. I just said enough to take trips and live comfortably.
How often do you want to take trips?
I want to travel the world, like backpack across Europe. I want to go to Asia. I've gone all over America already.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. You want to go to Europe and Asia? Okay. And he pays for it?
No.
Or, okay.
No, just enough that I'm not paying for it solely.
So split it?
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
What about you?
I didn't list a number either. I just said enough to afford your bills, like live comfortably. That's
well,
as long as you can sustain yourself and your lifestyle.
Okay, sure. What about you?
I really, really want children. I really want to be a stay-at-home mom. So I said anything that would make our family be okay and live comfortably would be okay with me.
Okay. How many kids do you want?
Everybody think I'm crazy. I want 3 before I'm 30. And I'm 22.
I don't think that's crazy.
So I feel a little adamant.
Those are some rookie numbers. You got to pump that up.
Well, I know, but I'm afraid to scare people when I say that. So I just play it safe, and I'm like 3 before I'm 30. But really, I want a lot of kids.
Like 7. You want 7 kids?
I want 5. I always said about 5 to 7, but I want to seem insane.
Sure. I don't think it's insane.
No, it's a good
I think
one to have.
for the right guy, he'll be like, hell yeah. Because some girls are going to say, like, some guy might want a lot of kids, and some women might be like, I kind of only want 2 or 3.
And it's really crucial to me to have them in my 20s because I want to be agile enough to raise them and play sports with them and run around with them.
Yep.
So it's definitely something I'm very eager to accomplish.
Sure. Okay, what about you?
I'd say at least 100,000.
At least 100,000?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
I don't have a specific number, but same thing with as long as we have like a comfortable life.
Okay. Who here wants kids? Show of hands. Kids? No kids? No kids? Everybody else though?
Yeah.
Kids? How many kids do you want?
2.
2?
I'll say
4.
4? She doesn't want kids. What about you?
Probably 3 to 5.
3 to 5? 5 to 7?
1 or 2.
1 or 2?
And 2.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know some of you said you don't really care, but I think, just the economic realities are, if you want to have kids, you do have to consider finances to some degree when you're picking a partner, I would imagine. But, okay, 100,000. 100,000. How much do you make? Aren't you like a NEET? Aren't you like unemployed right now?
I am. I'm working on it. It's a long You
what
know,
does your shirt say? Predators? What?
Oh my God. Predators
Wait, what?
can't have
I can't
any
believe
of this. Do you see
How
this?
did I miss that?
How did you miss this? Because it's fading.
And I see the stains too.
Oh, I know. Well, I'm sweating. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's sweat stains. Titty sweat. It's okay. I get that too.
I'm sure.
Well, I'm just that's the way it's on the chest. What do you want me?
It is. Okay. I know.
Good times.
Yeah. Okay.
Predators
can't have any of this.
Why not?
Oh my God.
What's so special about it?
Like, isn't that just a given? Like, who would have a shirt like predators can get this? What?
Well, because some
it's like
men feel, and I'm not talking about either of you, some men feel entitled to women. They feel entitled. Well, they feel entitled to.
Yeah, but
they feel sexually entitled to
wouldn't
women.
the predator feel entitled regardless of your shirt?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm just gonna shirt be like,
no, he's not gonna stop.
About it,
I know. Yeah. He's not gonna stop because I have this, obviously.
But like, what are you trying to signal? I guess like, I don't get it.
Well, I see it as more of a, as more of like a joke, but because it's serious to me. But I understand that it's not going to be perceived in a serious manner by anybody who actually does think that way. Because there are men that I've dealt with, who feel very entitled to me.
I don't know if they are aware that they're predators.
Probably not. Yeah, and that's actually very interesting that you bring up that point. Because a lot of people think that many of these like predatory-minded people, male or female, they actually know that they're like predatory, and it's actually not the case a lot of the time. There's a whole psychological movement on that. But yeah. Movement in psychology, I should say.
I'm trying to like kind of wrap my head around it though. Like, what would be an equivalent shirt? Like, what would a guy wear that's like
gold diggers can't?
Obese gold digger, bitchy women can't get this. Yeah. Does it need to be stated?
Off limits, and then hashtag or hash marks of the criteria. So like off limits, gold diggers, obese women, old women,
You give like a whole list.
Yeah.
Some guys like cougars.
Off limits. Yeah.
Predators.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. It's like men who, I feel like our society has this idea of like men that are like very assertive with other people. Like they're not. So the way I think of it is like guys that aren't frauds. Like I wouldn't consider them like predatory, even if they're very like assertive and like maybe they've had like a couple like mishaps with women or men or their men or something. Like they're not.
So they're gay?
No, like a guy who's like a guy who's like assertive and very powerful. Like that's not what I would consider to be a predator. I would consider a predator to be like somebody who like he's like basically. Well, he's like, like he just said, he's not aware that his behavior is like creepy. Like his behaviors are not matching his thoughts about about how he's like being.
But if he wasn't aware
perceived by the world.
Oh, I'm sorry. But if he wasn't aware that he was a predator, how would he know the shirt applied to him?
Right, exactly, yeah. That's why it's kind of a joke in my mind.
I just don't.
There's a whole.
I don't get
there's
it.
literature on this. I mean, there's narcissists. There's men that are narcissists that don't know that they're narcissists, and they're the ones that I actually don't like. It's not the men that like know they're narcissists, and like.
So you'll date a narcissist if they know they're a narcissist?
Because they're more likely than not, they're not going to have this like cognitive dissonance going on where they are behaving in one way and they're thinking about themselves in another way. So for example, like those guys who think that maybe this is an attack on how you perceive yourself, I don't know. But there are guys that there are guys who think that they're like these, that do everything to try to impress a girl. Like they basically simp for her, and they like, they'll do everything, just like follow her around, like they're basically like simps.
What are you saying? I'm sorry, I'm like not
You're lost. Okay.
Wait, okay.
We'll drop the point.
No, but okay, there's male simps. What? Okay.
Because that's like what a predator is in my mind.
So what?
Like guys that do everything, guys that, yeah, no, I think so, yeah.
Hold on.
Not like a guy who's who's creepy.
Predator.
Yeah.
Like a guy who is, okay, let me think of it this way.
It's on your shirt. Like, I assume you know how to, like,
right.
what
So
the word means.
what this is basically addressing, like I just said, is like this cognitive dissonance. There are certain people where their behaviors don't match their actions. Or I'm sorry, their behaviors don't match their actions. So they could be like violating boundaries, poor boundary recognition, constantly asserting control over like another person, like trying to control the person's life.
What's an example of that?
So the way that I think of it is like a guy who thinks that because he's a nice guy, he should get to sleep with a woman. And that's the only reason, because he's a nice guy that's done stuff for her. And
I mean, I think that's a bad mindset to have, but I don't know if that would make him a predator.
I agree.
Like, I think that's a bad attitude from him, but
I think
there could be other things about him that make him predatory. But just a guy who's like, I'm a nice, like, that's a shit mindset to have, but I don't think that makes him predatory in and of itself.
Maybe that's your opinion.
Well, I don't just think,
I mean, I think a lot of people
there would have
agree
to
with
be
you.
predatory behavior in conjunction with the mindset.
Right. So a guy might, I mean, so probably going to get a lot of backlash for this, but a guy might think that if he, and this may be associated with like people that I've, oh, this is going to make me sound bad. This is going to make me sound bad.
Go ahead.
But like I'm very attracted to intelligent men. So I don't really appreciate like intellectually deficient men. Mm-hmm. I think that that if they have like some kind of intellectual disability, that's like unattractive to me. Sure. That sounds prejudiced, but
yeah. Okay. What about the what about the?
But I think, I'm saying that it may be correlated. Like if you're
Wait, highly intelligent man is
no,
with
not those two, those two things.
Why are you bringing that up?
So
Please make it make sense.
Okay. So I think that it may be characteristic of somebody with an intellectual disability to not understand how their actions are impacting another person. And so as a result, they will behave in a certain way. Okay. And it may be an aggressive way. Now, again, this is going to make me sound like a really mean person, because there's people out there that, are kind of given this pass. Oh, they have like a disability. They can't help themselves. They have a cognitive problem.
Wait, hold on. Are you talking low IQ or full-on disability? Because are you talking like Down syndrome? Why? What? What are you talking about?
I mean somebody with a low IQ. Yeah. But low IQ isn't necessarily a metric of intelligence. So it's not, I don't want to say IQ. I'd want to say somebody who isn't, and I don't know if you know that, but there are issues with IQ tests.
Go ahead.
But yeah, so there are people out there, let's say that I have been taught throughout my life, or something has happened where I, as a man, believe that if I steal items from a woman, for example, or I do something to hurt her, that she's still gonna like me. Or if if I have those cognitive distortions, if I have like this idea in my brain that if I do things to manipulate a female, that she's gonna like me. That's somebody who obviously something is going on in their brain where they think that they're a good person when their behavior is suggesting otherwise. And there's a lot of examples of this in psychology. Let me give you an example. So let me give you an example. So,
go ahead. Yeah.
So
wait, can I ask you something before you jump in? So earlier you kind of commented on how you would date a narcissist who is aware they're a narcissist.
Yeah.
So in that kind of indicates that you think the awareness reduces the symptoms of narcissism or the behaviors and how it affects you?
Right. So if somebody is, and again, there's like data on this, that narcissism does have a stronger genetic component than we once thought.
Absolutely.
But there are certain forms of narcissism that are probably more so due to environment, even though that genetic basis is still there. But I think that if somebody is raised in a household where they're maybe more aware of their behaviors, so the way that I think of it is, this is going to sound complicated to you guys, but there are people that are taught that empathy may mean something, other than what it actually is.
Yeah.
And
what is that something?
So if you're one of these guys who thinks that they're going to that they need to rescue women or something like that, that women need to be saved.
Yeah.
And that, let's say if she is if she's, selling her body for sex,
she needs to be saved.
Then she needs to be saved and taken care of or something like that. Well,
continue. But
I don't know if that woman needs to be saved. I mean, maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. Either way, it's not really up to the guy.
So wait, you're
it's
saying
not really up to the guy to decide that for her. That's a boundary violation.
So
if he's just
what are you talking about?
He doesn't know what I'm talking about.
You're just yapping.
I'm yapping.
Make a cohesive
argument.
Articulate something.
I think that you don't understand what I'm saying.
No, you're just. I'm just ranting.
I think it's trailed off to a completely different conversation.
Wait, back to the question that I had.
But I want to answer your question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So we have genetics and we have environment. And environment, think of environment like the soil, and genetics is the seed. So the soil shapes. The soil shapes how the seed grows, right?
Can I pause you to speed this up a little bit? Everyone in my family is narcissistic. My mom, my dad, all three of my brothers.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand what's genetic and what's environmental. I know.
Tell us more about the soil.
I'm using a metaphor. That's all it is.
So what matters more, the environment or the genetic factor? Do you think if someone who comes from a long line of generational trauma is put into a foster care, foster home? No.
Brian's annoyed.
Okay. Well, we can move on, Brian. Sorry.
Bro, I'm asking her about her shirt.
This is true.
And I told you what a predator is in my mind.
Zigzagged
I have zigzagged
all over the place.
I agree.
There's a lot of zigzagging.
Okay.
What are you trying to communicate with your shirt? I just don't get.
I'm trying to make fun of people.
Murderers, you can't hang out with me. What is that? Who? So? Of course, I don't want to hang out with murderers. Oh, murderers don't hang out with me. You think a murderer is gonna? Oh, she's got the shirt that says, "I don't like murderers."
You don't. That's
I'm gonna stay away from her.
No,
if I'm a murderer, I'm gonna be like, challenge accepted. You're tracking these predators are like. That's the one.
So and you're saying
accepted.
Right. You're describing exactly what I'm saying.
So then why are you wearing the shirt, lady?
Because
I want to be bait.
I want to be bait. But
fishy.
No,
wouldn't a predatory person see that shit be like?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like a guy who's aware that he's an arrogant guy. He's gonna see it and he's gonna just laugh. He's gonna be like, oh well, I wasn't. He probably wouldn't want me anyway.
So wait.
Because obviously I'm aware. But somebody who's not aware of their actions.
I am going to, you know what? I like the shirt. I'm going to put it on my merch store. I'm also, I just, 3 other t-shirt ideas came to my mind while we've been discussing this. Your t-shirt says, predators can't have any of this. I also am going to release a couple shirts on my merch store, shop.whatever.com. The sky is blue. The sky is blue. I don't know, what's some other, grass is green, and women are gonna nag you. Okay, that's what the merch